Once upon a time, in the bustling kingdom of Valdor, there lived a young queen named Isabella. She was beautiful and intelligent, but her impatience often clouded her judgment. The people loved her for her fairness, but her servants feared her temper, for she could never wait for anything to be done at its natural pace. One morning, as the first rays of the sun bathed the palace in golden light, Isabella called for her royal tailor. "I want a new gown for tonight's ball," she commanded, tapping her jeweled finger on the armrest of her throne. "Make it the finest in the land, and have it ready by sunset." The tailor bowed nervously. "Your Majesty, creating a gown so magnificent in such a short time is impossible." Isabella frowned. "Do not speak of impossibilities. Just make it happen." The tailor, too scared to argue further, rushed to his workshop. He and his assistants worked tirelessly, but as sunset approached, the gown remained unfinished. When the queen saw the incomplete dress, her face turned red with anger. "You have failed me," she declared. In her fury, she dismissed the tailor from the palace, banishing him from her service forever. The palace's wisest advisor, an elderly woman named Margot, saw everything. She approached the queen later that evening. "Your Majesty," Margot said gently, "impatience can lead to ruin. The greatest things in life require time." But Isabella brushed off the warning. "If others worked as hard as I do, there would be no delays," she replied. That night, as Isabella retired to her chamber, she found a curious note on her pillow. It read, "For the impatient heart, time shall stand still." Before she could make sense of the words, she felt dizzy and fell into a deep sleep. When she awoke, she found herself alone in a frozen world. The palace halls were eerily silent. Every servant, every guard, and even the birds in the sky were frozen in place. Isabella tried calling for help, but her voice echoed in vain. She wandered the palace, realizing that she could no longer command time to bend to her will. Days turned to weeks, and loneliness became her only companion. One day, as she sat weeping by the garden fountain, a mysterious old man appeared. His robe shimmered with stars, and his eyes held the wisdom of centuries. "Why do you weep, child?" he asked. "I have lost everything," Isabella replied. "My impatience drove away those who cared for me." The old man smiled kindly. "Patience is a virtue that can be learned. Will you take the time to master it?" Isabella nodded earnestly. "Yes, I will. If only I could have another chance." With a wave of his hand, the old man restored the kingdom to life. The sounds of laughter and bustling activity returned, and the queen found herself back in her throne room. From that day forward, Isabella ruled with patience and wisdom. She took the time to understand her people's needs and treated her subjects with kindness. The tailor, who was reinstated to his position, presented her with the most beautiful gown she had ever seen, crafted over weeks, not hours. Isabella wore it proudly. The gown was a symbol of her newfound understanding that good things come to those who wait. And so, the impatient queen became a wise and beloved ruler, proving that even the most stubborn hearts can change when they learn the value of patience. Moral of the story: patience and understanding can lead to greater success and harmony than haste and frustration ever could.